does it take you to go through a bank?
About 1 minute, 40 seconds. Flat.
This week on At the Movies, Christian Bale tries to take down Johnny Depp in Michael Mann's Public Enemies.
Nobody move a muscle.
Ray Romano, Queen Latifah, and Dennis Leary get some unexpected visitors in Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs.
Orbit reunite for the first time since My Big Fat Greek Wedding and I Hate Valentine's Day.
But up close, toe to toe, when somebody's about to die right here, right now, I'm used to that.
Goodbye, Mr. Dillinger.
I'll see you down the road.
No, you will not.
Johnny Depp is the infamous gangster John Dillinger. I'm Ben Mankiewicz from Turner Classic Movies.
And I'm Ben Lyons from E! Entertainment. Over the years, Johnny Depp has assembled an incredible resume, playing numerous iconic characters from Captain Jack Sparrow to Ed Wood. Now he takes on the role of John Dillinger in director Michael Mann's latest Public Enemies.
Why'd you do that?
Because you're with me now.
I don't know anything about you.
I was raised on a farm in Mooresville, Indiana. My mama died when I was 3. My daddy beat the hell out of me because he didn't know no better way to raise me. I like baseball, movies, good clothes, fast cars, whiskey, and you. What else you need to know?
That's Oscar winner Marion Cotillard in a strong performance as a naive coat check girl who Dillinger becomes infatuated with from their first encounter. The year is 1933, and Dillinger and his crew of gangsters have just busted out of prison in Indiana and continue to rob banks across the Midwest. In hot pursuit is federal agent Melvin Purvis, played by Christian Bale, who is quickly climbing the ranks at the FBI.
Agent Purvis will be in charge of the field office in Chicago, the center of the crime wave sweeping America. His task will be to get public enemy number 1, John Dillinger.
Mr. Purvis, how did you run down Pretty Boy Floyd?
Through an apple orchard.
Billy Crudup effectively plays J. Edgar Hoover in that scene, but he's an afterthought in the second half of the film, which opts to focus on over-the-top action sequences instead of continuing to develop its strong characters. Director Michael Mann has slowly been incorporating high-definition, shaky camera work into his recent films, a modern aesthetic that adds a raw, realistic feel to the look of a period piece. The film does capture how the country was enamored with Dillinger, but that said, the movie can't withstand some serious scrutiny. The numerous historical inaccuracies begin to pile up, and the last 20 minutes seem to drag. Some strong performances, but I expected more from this great director and his stellar cast. I'm gonna say rent it.
I thought the action sequences were extremely well done from start to finish. This was a really violent time in American history, and I thought those scenes were violent but completely credible. And I thought Depp really sort of captured the essence of John Dillinger, who's sort of in the middle of this massive manhunt for public enemy number 1, lived among the people, going to ball games, going to amusement parks.
Depp is tremendous, but this is his movie, and I think for the film to really succeed, it needed to balance the relationship between Melvin Purvis and John Dillinger. Even though they didn't really have that many encounters in real life, there's still these two men who are forever linked, and that part of the film was really underdeveloped because Bale's kind of a supporting role in this.
Bale definitely a supporting role in this. In fact, the agent who was most interesting was another special agent, another FBI agent played by Stephen Lang, who actually ends up shooting Dillinger. I really liked, I thought he was outstanding.
It was a great performance.
I thought the film needed more from Bale. I will agree with you on that. But I thought Depp was so good capturing this time in American history when Dillinger was a bit of a folk hero as the country is going through the economic depression, and this guy who's robbing the banks responsible for it. Depp really captured that sort of gangster likability.
Depp is so good that in the moment he holds your attention, and I'm along for the ride, and it's a good adult summer movie. However, I wanted an award show contender, and it's just not that. It falls short of some of the other great gangster movies of all time, and even some of the better films from director Michael Mann. It's got its moments, but there are some holes to it.
Well, I think you're setting the bar too high. If you're looking for an Oscar movie, you didn't get it, but I do think this is a film worth seeing. So, obviously, I say see it. For the second time in a month, we have a film that could be called the successor, though not the sequel, to the $368 million sleeper hit, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. The first, Nia Vardalos in My Life in Ruins, was a complete disaster. Now, Vardalos co-writes, directs, and stars in a good romantic comedy, reuniting her and Greek Wedding co-star John Corbett in I Hate Valentine's Day.
If you're interested in spending some time with me, you may romance me. Got it?
Sorry.
It's okay. Now, it just so happens I am open for wooing.
Okay. What do I do?
So he does some wooing, but under her peculiar rules. Only 5 dates, and then it's over. Why? Because she maintains after 5 dates, romance stops and the road to heartache begins.
So you love romance, but not relationships?
Well, what's to love about something that only brings unhappiness?
It's not natural.
Do you know any happy couples?
All the time? No, but...
I am happy all the time.
Now, I need to be clear here. Everyone who's ever seen a movie knows where this is headed. But unlike My Life in Ruins and The Proposal, two of this summer's romantic comedies, getting there is breezy, fun, and most importantly, well executed. Vardalos and Corbett play likable characters working off a reasonably clever script. I think I Hate Valentine's Day makes an excellent July date night. It's in limited release in theaters, also available on demand. See it.
I really respect and admire Nia Vardalos for writing and directing and producing and generating her own material.
But
that said, I don't have to enjoy it, and I don't particularly like it. You say it's a somewhat clever script. It's not, Ben. I found it to be really one note. The characters kind of stereotyped. Real people don't exist in life like this and don't have these peculiar dating rules that they're beholden to. And I just don't find that people communicate and date like this. This is not authentic modern courtship.
It's important to draw a distinction between the plausibility of the circumstances, which I agree with you, and the plausibility of the characters. I thought these were well-developed characters that I could identify with. Unlike The Proposal, I don't believe those two people exist. Unlike My Life in Ruins, I don't think any of those people existed. I bought these people. I liked these characters. And the bottom line, when Nia Vardalos plays a believable character, I just like her, and I like John Corbett, too.
I don't find the humor in jokes that are intentionally meant to bomb. He opens a tapas place, goes around telling everybody that, hey, come to my new restaurant. It's called Get On Tapas. And it's a flat joke, and then we're supposed to laugh at how bad that joke is. I don't find that funny. And I think
the fact that people didn't get how clever or unclever his name is, I like that. That was funny.
I didn't get the appeal of this movie. I think you can skip I Hate Valentine's Day.
Coming up next, Scrat is back, and he's still looking for that acorn in Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs.
And later, Al Pacino and Warren Beatty, two of our all-time favorite gangster films. That's in our DVD Out Now segment.
What's the charge?
Homicide.
Were extinct.
Well, then that is one angry fossil.
Manny, Ellie, Sid, and Diego are back in Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs. Now, if you're not familiar or don't remember where we last left these prehistoric characters, have no fear. Something tells me you'll be able to follow along. Ray Romano and Queen Latifah voice two woolly mammoths in love, expecting their first child together. If you think having a kid in 2009 is difficult, try baby-proofing the forest.
Of course, it's still a work in progress. A few rough edges here and there.
I don't believe it. You're trying to baby-proof nature.
Baby-proof nature? Get out of here. That's ridiculous.
The two are joined by John Leguizamo's Sid, who catches baby fever as well, adopting, or should I say essentially stealing, 3 dinosaur eggs.
I like to present Egbert, Shelley, and Yoko.
Sid, whatever you're doing, it's a bad idea.
When the mother dinosaur comes looking for her babies, she also takes Sid with her. The rest of the crew go on a journey to find Sid and bring him home.
Our friend was taken by a dinosaur.
Well, he's dead. Welcome to my world. Now, go home. Off you pop.
Maybe the deranged hermit has a point.
Manny, we came this far. We're gonna find him.
Normally, a film like this finds a nice balance of entertaining younger audiences with memorable characters and holding grown-ups' interests with sharp writing and wit. Think Shrek or Toy Story. Yes, the vignettes with Scrat, the squirrel who's still trying to find his acorn, are funny and amusing, but the whole movie is more of the same, and I'm afraid the franchise is beginning to run out of steam. You can skip it.
You mentioned Shrek, you mentioned Toy Story, throw in the really successful and wonderful Up from this year, WALL-E, Ratatouille,
The
even
list goes
Bolts.
on of really quality animated films.
This movie is imbued with an overwhelming ordinariness. Hard to find anything to strongly object to, also hard to find anything that you can really go out and praise. All sort of sharp dialogue is dulled out. There's never a really funny moment. There are all kinds of lines where there's a pause and you're clearly supposed to have the audience laugh. It just doesn't come.
Yeah, it's just really average and uninspired. It's not like there's a great musical score or songs that go with this, singing and dancing, like a Happy Feet or something like that. And the same token, the animation seems rather flat. This one is in 3D for the first time in the franchise and didn't really stand out or add to the overall feeling of grandeur of the film.
Until you mentioned it, I had completely forgotten that I'd seen this movie in 3D. I think everything is largely forgettable. Certainly not terrible, but ultimately forgettable, and that means you should skip it. Coming up next, Ray Liotta is worried about his son's future in Local Color.
And on next week's show, Sacha Baron Cohen stars in his follow-up to Borat. It's Bruno.
We are so like the Sex and the City girls. Oh, no, we aren't.
All right. Good. You can come up to Pennsylvania with me for the summer. If I don't kill you, I teach you paid. If you try to hack me, I'll kill you now. Okay.
Next is Local Color, starring a really top-notch character actor, Armin Mueller-Stahl, recently seen playing opposite Tom Hanks in Angels and Demons. This time, he takes the leading role as an aging Russian artist in upstate New York who's lost interest in a world that's lost interest in his art. Into his life comes an 18-year-old aspiring painter who wants nothing more than to have the older man teach him his craft. But Ray Liotta, playing the kid's homophobic father, wants his son to stay away from the old man.
You're telling me you want to go into the woods with an old man?
Well, yeah. This is a huge opportunity for me.
How's that?
This guy's a Russian master.
Great, he's Russian too. So you come back a communist and who knows what else?
Trevor Morgan plays John, the young student, and though he's adequate, he's dwarfed by Mueller-Stahl's considerable charisma and depth.
She is my friend. My friend. Not yours.
Sorry.
I'll bet you are.
You're right, I'm not sorry.
The film, which is largely an autobiographical story from writer-director George Gallo, lacks the emotional authenticity Gallo clearly seeks. I suspect Local Color will lose those unfamiliar with the jargon and subtleties of the art world. Skip it.
Obviously a passion project for Gallo, but he's never really able to translate that importance to the audience. We don't really care or connect with these characters, especially Trevor Morgan, who, for being in every scene of the film, is not believable as an aspiring art student. I feel like he's just simply reciting dialogue off a page and memorizing it as opposed to really speaking it from his heart. He was unconvincing, which ultimately left me really unimpressed by the film.
Yeah, I'm sorry to not praise a film where I think such a wonderful actor like Armin Mueller-Stahl stars in it. And I did think he was wonderful, but it's simply not enough to sustain the movie. And then there's some other characters that show up.
It feels like Ron Perlman walks in from another movie to try and add some life to it and shake things up, but it's really too little too late.
Cartoonish, over the top, and he's old friends with Armin Mueller-Stahl. There is no conceivable way those two guys would ever have been friends. I expect more from Gallo because I know he's capable of delivering more. This is a guy who wrote Midnight Run.
Sure.
Robert De Niro, Charles Grodin. It may have been 20-plus years.
Still holds up today.
Totally holds up. Wonderful
but
movie.
This is nothing of note. I think you can skip Local Color. Our next movie, The Girl from Monaco, stars French actor Fabrice Lucchini as Bertrand Brouvois, a well-respected conservative defense lawyer who travels to Monaco for a high-profile murder case. So high-profile, in fact, he requires the 24-hour attention of his own bodyguard, stoically played by Roshdi Zem. Despite the constant surveillance, he meets and dates several women, including Audrey, a beautiful weather reporter played by Louise Bourgeon, and becomes instantly infatuated with her, and understandably so.
Je vous ai reconnu, Zozo. Qu'est-ce que vous faites là? Mais dites pas que vous êtes venu ici pour draguer?
Pourquoi? J'ai passé l'âge?
Bah, à la limite.
Ah ouais. Vous dites toujours ce que vous pensez, vous.
Pourquoi il faut pas?
Si. Enfin, il y a un risque.
Soon Bertrand is thinking more about Audrey than he is about his case. The film dances around suspense and satire, but achieves little of both. Parts are meant to make us laugh, yet don't, and the drama or real tension isn't there either.
Maître, ça va faire un peu tard.
C'est que moi, j'aime pas du tout l'eau.
Vous n'y allez pas?
Elle est trop bonne. Allez, quoi, poil? Ça va vous faire un bien fou.
Slow and rather misguided, you can skip The Girl from Monaco.
Dancing around satire and tension, I don't think so. I think it was a perfect blend of satire and tension. I laughed at this movie. I didn't know where it was headed, and I always wanted to know where it was going. I thought all three lead performances really sharp. You're right, she is something to look at, but also really delivered a very solid performance.
I really enjoyed the performance from the bodyguard, Rashdi Zem. However, I felt the film was really asking a lot of the audience to be very proactive in simply just putting the plot together without much payoff.
Substantial disagreement here. I think there's a really big payoff in the end. Bertrand, the lawyer, is leading this orderly life, and this crazy, beautiful woman thrusts herself into his life. He needs help to extricate himself from that situation and restore order.
Translate for me. Some of the humor I just found to be a little off-putting and kind of took me out of the moment in a lot of ways.
Funny, dramatic, tense. I think you should see it. Coming up next, two of the most memorable gangster movies of all time. That's in our DVD Out Now section.
No woman's worth a bullet between the eyes. Am I right or wrong?
Depends on whose eyes and which woman.
Time to take a look at DVDs Out Now. Since we reviewed Public Enemies on this week's show, we decided to look back at some of our favorite gangster movies. Picking my favorite is very hard. The Godfather 1 and 2, Angels with Dirty Faces, Reservoir Dogs. I could list 50 I love. But instead, I'll take the time to remind you just how wonderful Bugsy is.
Did you think you could get away with it? Did you think you could steal from me?
Warren Beatty as Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, a film less about the mob and more about an American visionary who was brutally violent. The Barry Levinson film, written by James Toback, admittedly romanticizes Siegel, but does it exceptionally well, with Beatty, Annette Bening, and Harvey Keitel delivering great performances. But Oscar nominee Ben Kingsley is downright jaw-dropping as mobster Meyer Lansky, Bugsy's lifelong friend and the man who ultimately signs his death warrant.
In the mood for a better gangster movie than Public Enemies, also starring Johnny Depp? Well, then go back and rediscover Donnie Brasco on DVD starring Depp and Al Pacino.
My friend Lefty's asking about you. Don't embarrass me, capiche?
Hey, I wouldn't do that to you. You know that, Joe. Come on.
Because if you do, one of us is going to whack you out.
Mike Newell directs the legendary tandem of actors in this true story about FBI agent Joseph Pistone, played by Depp, who courageously goes undercover to infiltrate the mob back in 1970s New York. As Pistone gets closer to figures like Pacino's Lefty Ruggiero and mob boss Sonny Black, played by Michael Madsen, his own marriage and personal life begins to crumble.
Maybe the best undercover movie ever. Depp does such a great job of capturing everything that you have to give up to fully become another person.
Another one of the memorable characters from his long career, and really admirable stuff from him, as always.
Both Donnie Brasco and Bugsy are available right now.
Want to know what you can't miss this weekend? Well, stay tuned for my 3 to See.
Closed captioning for After Movies is sponsored by...
This message is brought to you by the letter A, as in Allstate, the first place to look for savings. Drivers who switched to Allstate saved an average of $396 a year. Awesome.
Hotel provided by Park Hyatt Chicago. Chicago's award-winning hotel and luxury dining experience, located in the heart of Chicago's Magnificent Mile on Water Tower Square.
Okay, recapping the movies on this week's show, I say to see Public Enemies. Ben says just rent it. I enjoyed I Hate Valentine's Day. Ben really didn't. Both of us were unimpressed by Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs, and we agree you can also skip Local Color. I say to see The Girl from Monaco, but Ben says skip it. 4 skip it's and 1 rent it. You didn't like anything this week.
I was not really impressed by the new releases, but there are still some good things to see in theaters this weekend with my 3 to See. At number 3, it's the emotionally charged My Sister's Keeper, thanks in part to a star-turning performance from Sofia Vassilieva. At number 2, Afghan Star. The powerful documentary showcases how music has the ability to unite even the most fragmented and divided of societies. And at number 1, one of the best war movies of the year, The Hurt Locker. It's gritty, raw, and powerful, and if it's playing near you, be sure to seek it out. I think you'll be impressed.
That is it for now. Remember, though, we are always online, and you can follow us on Twitter. Just go to atthemoviestv.com to find out how.
And be sure to join us next week when we'll have reviews of Sacha Baron Cohen's controversial Bruno. And until then, as always, we'll be at the movies.
What's up? I'm Bruno. Ich am going to wear the jumpsuit made entirely out of Velcro.
Activon Ultra Strength for powerful pain relief. A convenient applicator means no messy creams. Activon, applied directly where it hurts for joint pain, muscle pain, arthritis, and backache.
Curad Camp Camo, the only camouflage bandages. Curad, we help heal.
Millions of pet owners trust 1-800-PET-MEDS for fast service, free shipping, and big savings. Call now or order online from 1-800-PET-MEDS, America's largest pet pharmacy.
Here for the pineapple upside-down pancakes?
Hawaiian pancakes at IHOP. Pineapple upside down, banana macadamia nut, and strawberry passion fruit. IHOP. Come hungry, leave happy.